the first Black local woman newly promoted to general manager at the St. Kitts Marriott Beach Club. Mrs. Candace Warner Shoy is a trailblazer in the hospitality industry. With over 14 years in the industry, she has made her mark locally, regionally, and internationally. So let's all welcome Candace to Good Morning SKN. Thank you for being here with us this morning.
Good morning, and thank you for having me as well. I'm happy to be here.
And congratulations
Thank you so
on your
much.
ascension
Thank
to General
you.
Manager.
It is a pleasure.
Alrighty, so let's talk about your journey to this position. You graduated your alma mater at the University of the West Indies. Was your initial focus in hospitality?
No, my degree at the University of the West Indies was actually in government and international trade relations. And hospitality, I sort of fell into it. My thrust into it was basically, returning from school. We all have our mindset on where we would like to end up, and that does not always go the way as we envision it, or it doesn't pan out how we expect. And I had an opportunity to join the Marriott St. Kitts Beach Club. It's been 14 years, and I have not left, so there's obviously something great about the hospitality industry.
That is so sweet.
I feel compelled to ask a question, and the answer might not be as obvious.
Okay.
So, were there any parallels between what you studied and what you do daily that you think contributed to your success in any way?
So, in terms of what I studied and what I do now, I know they're on varying levels. However, what I say I did take away from my studies in government and international trade relations was that ability that I definitely need now in terms of discipline and building those competencies in leadership, whether it's accountability, building relationships, and that has really propelled me further into the hospitality industry based on those previous skills that I would have accomplished.
Look at that. So you've been recognized and awarded at regional, as I said before, international and local levels as Manager of the Year and Outstanding Associate, just to name a few. What and who would you attribute your success today to?
My success, I would say, is based on consistent performance.
Okay.
When I entered the doors of the Marriott St. Kitts Beach Club as Sales Gallery Coordinator 2006, I knew that there was more that I was capable of. But there's one thing about potential, and then there's another thing where you have to demonstrate and execute to those who are observing you that you are indeed capable of more, and they should make space for you to elevate.
Yes.
And I took advantage of that, and all the opportunities for growth and promotion, I channeled myself into those. I have a very strong support system. I have an awesome team, and they have made every transition at every level of promotion very seamless. So I attribute part of my success to them. Thank you, team. And also to my family. I have a very supportive family.
Nice.
Hospitality is very dynamic. The hours can seem unreasonable sometimes. So having a family who understands that this is what I have to do is very important. And my husband as well is also in hospitality. So you could imagine the conflicts there. Yes.
Okay.
Well, the conflict's in the understanding.
Yes, indeed.
Yes.
All right, so I'm listening to you speak about what you attribute your success to. I am tempted to ask you for your own personal definition of success. What does it mean for you to be successful? And Daisy?
To be successful, I really think about, I know in our society, there are some careers that we would have as the, the careers that most persons should aspire to.
Yes.
And hospitality doesn't necessarily fall into that category. So success to me is really demonstrating a high level of passion about what you're interested in, motivation, self-motivation that's critically important to drive to success, and basically executing against any of the obstacles that you're faced with, regardless of the career or field that you're placed in. So just giving your best at what you have to do.
I like that. So you can do anything and succeed.
Yes, you can do anything. You can achieve the highest level of leadership, regardless of the career, once you are passionate about what you do. And passion is what drives me.
So how do you stay motivated? I have to ask this one. How do you stay motivated? Because we all have our days.
So Motivation is twofold for me. First, self-motivation. You know, it has to be intrinsic, has to come from within. And secondly, there has to be a drive towards it. There must be a purpose. Why am I doing what I'm doing, right? And for me, I have a teenage son. And like I said, my husband is also in hospitality. And it's important for us to demonstrate and for him to see through us that with, you know, the right attitude and the proper work ethics, that you can, you know, definitely be successful. And that is what really motivates me, getting him into that chain of thought that, hey, no matter what career you end up in, just being motivated and just working hard and having those ethics, that's going to be critical.
All right, let's talk innovation. You've been in this field for 14 years, as you rightly just said. Where do you see an opportunity for innovation in this role that will impact the larger hospitality experience of St. Kitts and Nevis?
That's a great question. When I first stepped into the role of general manager, and even prior to this new experience, one of the areas I've always observed an opportunity was to create a more sustainable recruiting pool for persons who would be interested in hospitality. I think hospitality has, it's almost like a fallback plan. If I'm unable to get a job here, you know, let me just go and try to be a waitress or a bartender. But there's so many more opportunities there. And in the future, one of our goals as we partner with the local community is really to work closely with the local college, especially with their hospitality program, and start some internship or mentorship programs so we can work towards a better sustainable recruiting pool.
That sounds,
So that's one of my intent.
Oh, that sounds very nice. So I have to ask, did you see yourself in this position?
No, no, I didn't. Like I said, I was passionate, and I'm a firm believer in if you are planted somewhere, you just bloom. And I just got passionate about it. I dedicated, I committed, I worked hard, and the opportunities were presented to me. My leaders, they saw the potential and they nurtured it. And I would raise my hand to let them know, hey, I'm interested in learning more. I want to do more. But I never saw that I would end up in the role as general manager at any point in time until my previous GM, when she was leaving, she said, so what are you going to do? You know, are you going to apply for the role? And it was only then that I thought about it like, hey, this is the next step that I would want to take. And it was not a very difficult transition. And that was all reliant on the fact that I've always worked on, you know, progressively on being the best at everything I did.
I want to know now if there have been opportunities for you to motivate your staff, you know, to exhibit that passion and drive that you seem to exhibit so well.
Of course, one of the, well, we thrive on a number of values at the company, one of them being caring culture. And with that value, there's a strong emphasis on fostering an environment of open communication. And that creates an avenue for us to really build an environment where our associates know they have career opportunities. As a matter of fact, we have a very strong cross-training program. And within the last 2 years, we've had a minimum of at least 10 associates being promoted because of that cross-training program. Associates who've moved from housekeeping to the front desk, from regular housekeeping room attendants to housekeeping supervisors. We've had one of our hourly associates promoted to a guest experience manager. So they know that the opportunities are out there. We've created an environment for that, and we ensure that they capitalize on that. Because one of the things that I really work on improving is building the talent in-house rather than going external for candidates. So whenever there's a new job opportunity, I always look for the best talent that I have in-house before I step outside for external candidates.
That'd be motivating enough for anybody who works.
Yes, exactly. Yes.
Yeah. So strive to be their best. I don't think I asked you this question. This new role that you have, how does it differ from the previous roles that you would have held?
It differs. It's a lot more dynamic, but because I've progressively worked my way to that new role, some of the job requirements I'm very familiar with.
Okay.
What's new is building those relationships with the external stakeholders and having the responsibility that everything falls on me now, right? So I don't necessarily have a cushion. Some of the roles include, but are not limited to, building a very cohesive executive leadership team that thrives on results, making sure that we're in compliance, whether it's from a legal, financial, or operational standpoint, monitoring business trends, coming up with strategies, advocating for our brand, and ensuring that the intent of our brand is represented through our guest experience. So just to name a few, that would be some of the areas where we would differ.
Okay.
Well, that sounds very lofty. I know that when you're saying that, you've got specific examples, you've got the experience that 14 years would inform, of course, but again, it's no small feat, so congratulations again.
Thank you.
All right, so as the first female of African descent to be promoted to this position, it makes you some sort of an ambassador. So let's talk about it through those lenses. What message do you have for young women looking to enter the hospitality industry and young women who are inspired by your journey? Because I'm sure many of them will be now.
It is not typical, especially in our local context, for one, a Black woman, and two, of African descent, to rise to the highest level of leadership in an international company. So it is my hope that to those young women who are viewing, that they would gain some sense of hope through my story and to know that once the opportunities are presented to you and you have an opportunity to blossom where you are planted, take advantage of that.
Indeed.
The opportunities are endless.
Can they see anyone that hears your name, lauds you as selfless and an exceptional leader? And I can attest to that because I see the many posts. Oh, Candy got me through this, Candy this, Candy that. How do you impact and continue to impact the growing female talent within the industry at the Marriott as a whole?
Leading by example is critical. Sometimes you're in leadership roles and you just apply lip service. Yes. For me, it is important that you demonstrate the core competencies that are necessary. What you practice, you preach. And when you are able to reap those results, you share those results so people can see what you're working on and can see how you're executing and have an opportunity to view the benefits of that. And one of the, I would say, character traits that I have, I'm very humble. Spotlight is not really my thing, so it's a little bit awkward. And I think that is what really, why most persons would gravitate towards my leadership style. And I work very closely with my team, regardless of where they are in the spectrum of their responsibilities. And that as well has, created a huge impact on my success.
Indeed, indeed.
Let's talk about trajectory for a second, because obviously you're here now, but if I'm listening to you well, I know that you're going to be looking for, ways to improve even as you execute this task. You're looking for further development. What does that look like for you right now?
Well, right now, it's really mastering this new role. It's very dynamic, and I still have a lot to learn. Most importantly, my priority is to ensure that I take care of my team, take care of my associates. And that in turn will transcend into me being able to accomplish anything else that I need to do. So that's where I am right now. Let me just make sure that I take care of my team first. But ideally, I would really love to, as you would have indicated, be an ambassador, especially now that, my promotion went viral in the company.
Yes.
And so it's really placed us on a pedestal. Not sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
A good thing.
So we have a lot of eyes on us.
Yes.
And I really, not because we have eyes on us, I want to do well. I just want to see my team be successful and St. Kitts continue to be represented internationally in the Marriott company.
Like this little Bowie Tallow, as we say.
Yes, yes.
Indeed. So, Candy, how do you distress? That's my final question.
So I think one of the things some of us fail on is that work-life balance. I was pretty good at it. I've fallen off the bandwagon a few times, but I de-stress by working out. So I once was a very avid, fitness person, very much into health. So I'm working my way back into that, and I read a lot. I love to read any genre of books except romance, but I love reading.
So that's not any.
I like that. Anything but romance. Anything but romance.
I love mystery and suspense.
Okay,
Yes.
okay, lovely.
Heard of. I won't ask you why not romance. That's fine. That's